this wedding, like negative and just terrible. And they end up getting thrown together because who else wants to deal with them? So they put them at the back table. Well, they end up getting it together. And it's the funniest movie I think I've seen Canoe do.
Really?
They're just so repulsively negative that they're funny.
That's hilarious.
There's so many movies I don't watch. Hi.
Negative that they're... Pardon, Katrina? He wants to talk too.
Sorry, I've got two small children talking at me. Which is mainly why I don't watch movies anymore.
Yeah, because you can't hear a word they're saying. So what do you do when they're both trying to talk to you at once?
Triage, just, decide who needs my attention the most, I guess, or go back and forth, try to take turns, try to make things fair. Sometimes I throw up my hands and run away.
Running away only works for a few minutes. Then they find you.
Right?
Hey, crazy, nice scarf you made. I saw that left me a message way back down in the Fiber Artist, but I missed it. Sorry.
It's all right, no problem. I ended up doing a knit stitch on the whole thing, but I'm a bit undecided because it's definitely a man's scarf because it kind of, the way it is now, it would have to be like kind of a big overcoat and then it'd be like round the neck and tucked underneath. Unless I think I either make it an eternity scarf. I think we call it a snood, so I might do that. I don't know.
A snood. I like that word.
That's a great word.
That's what we call them, a snood.
It's like over on MSP they were calling up votes dutes. Up dutes. I like that word too.
That's a good word.
Isn't that like from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Isn't snood like the fruity snood or something? I'll have to open that book again.
That's a good question. I was thinking kind of Dr. Seuss.
Oh yeah, there are some similarities between Dr. Seuss and Hitchhiker's Guide, I think.
I think we all need to go to Nigeria and show up at their wedding.
That would blow their mind.
Unfortunately, it's in Nigeria, so they're pretty safe. But I'll delete this, but I just thought that was hilarious. Be like, hi.
All of Steam is invited. Well, get ready. We're coming.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, not even, it's like olive steam. Really?
Are you sure you want to do that?
I wouldn't put that out there.
Is it a buffet and an open bar?
I know, hey? It was like, wow. Made me laugh.
Laughter is good.
It is.
Hi, Ivan. Oh, Rav, I didn't see you sneaking in there. Hello.
Hi, guys.
It's Rav! Oh my God, there's another fly in here. What is up with these today?
Did your dog get the first one?
No, he's still hunting it down, but there's another one in here which I'd let him come in and hunt, but he'll make too much of a racket.
Fly swatter?
They're in the summer kitchen outside and it's dark. And I won't be able to find them.
Ah.
Is it spooky there in the dark?
It's not spooky. It's just I'm night blind, so I cannot see. I mean, I know this sounds really like stupid, but in the dark, my eyes don't adjust. So it's like pitch black. So I can't see very well at all. I'm kind of completely blind at night. So
Oh, that
drive. I don't drive at night, not at all.
you must have some kind of freaky stories from being night blind. That would be really frustrating.
It is. It really is. I mean, even because downstairs of the house, technically it's kind of a basement, even though it's the downstairs of the house. So it's lit in the day, but it's not lit very well. So if you can imagine on a night, when you switch the lights off, it's pitch black. And if I haven't got my phone or a torch or something with me, I couldn't get upstairs. Literally, I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to find my way.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Mandel, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Very happy to be able to be at a Creatives Coffee Hour. My student cancelled.
Oh, well, that's too bad. And good.
Yeah, it's the way I feel too.
Oh, so Shadows tells me the feed is on, so welcome everybody to the Creatives Coffee Hour, where we're just going to shoot the breeze and share some stuff and just have an enjoyable hour. So did anybody come with something they'd like to share right away? I think by torch crazy might have meant flashlight. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, we don't call it a flashlight. We call it a torch.
I know, I was joking.
But I know what you mean.
My kids watch enough Peppa Pig that they call flashlights torches and elevators lifts, and it's really cute. I like it.
That is adorable. I have to admit, our background is British, but we don't talk to a lot of people from the continent, so to speak. And when I hear the word torch and someone says, "Oh, I'm using a torch," I picture a flamethrower.
Yeah, no, we call them both torches. We would never call it a flashlight. So a flame torch we would call a torch, and a flashlight we call a torch. If it gives light, it's called a torch.
So note to self, never ask Crazy to throw me the torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you do, just make sure you're clear on what you mean.
The best one ever. I had an American friend come to stay with us when we were in the UK a few years back, and she just got settled, and she was like, "Oh, do you have an outlet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we've got what kind of outlet do you want? We've got a food outlet, fashion outlet. You know, what is it that you're looking for?" And she's like, "Oh no, I just want to plug my phone in." I went, "Oh, you mean the socket?"
Yeah, you guys have some interesting and very interesting sayings over there, but I love them because they're funny. Someone calls you a silly twat and you say, "What?"
Do you know that word? Oh my God, yeah. Some people find that so offensive.
I remember Grandma asking me if she wanted her to. I had an appointment. I was pregnant with my daughter, and Grandma said, "Would you like me to knock you up in the morning?" And I said, "I think you're a little late, Grandma."
God.
So Crazy, I'm putting you on the spot. Tell us about this cool scarf in your post.
All right. So, as you'll know, last week I did a post that the first thing that I tried to knit, the first thing I tried to knit was a scarf, and I was failing miserably. So I found a pattern about a hat, and I knitted the hat, and I shared it. And I was like, I'm really shocked because I've done this hat, and I can't do a scarf. So by doing the hat, I felt that I'd mastered the knit stitch, which is pretty easy, really, when you get the hang of it. And then I thought, right, well, I'm gonna make a scarf, but this time I'm not gonna follow a pattern. I'm just gonna do it myself. So I cast on 20 stitches using the same wool as I made the hat with. And I went through 4 balls of wool in order to make it. It was really easy to do. It was just knit stitch all the way through. I had no problems this time, no holes, no dramas, no dilemmas. But what I did like about it is it gave me the opportunity as a beginner, because I didn't know how to switch to a new ball of wool, which I know there's a couple of ways that you can do it, and I used the knotted way, which I found really, really easy. Plus the good thing, because when I tied it together and being the knit stitch, it hit it really, really well. And then once it was finished, because it's really super chunky, I literally just weaved the ends in, and it hid the weave really, really well. And it came out really, really good. It's not as long as I originally wanted it to be, but after the 4th ball, I was like, I just want it done now. But I would say it's a man's scarf for sure. It could be a woman's scarf, but to me, it's the kind of scarf that you would wear over like a big overcoat and kind of tuck it in. So you wouldn't necessarily wrap it around your whole neck. Or what I could also do is, which we were just talking about, is I could weave the ends together and turn it into, some people call it an eternity scarf, and we call it a snood.
Well, I think it looks really cozy, and I love the way that it goes right in around your neck to keep the drafts out.
Yeah, it does. It works really well, but it was pretty tricky, trying to, it might just be the size of my neck. So if you've got like maybe a slimmer neck, it might fit better. I don't know. But for me, it didn't wrap very well, the way that I actually wanted it to. But I loved it for the practice, because now my other needles I've got is a 4.5mm. So it means that if I want to use the thinner wool to knit one now, I can, I know a pearl stitch as well, so I guess I could do it. And I think I'm going to catch up with you anyway, Artemis, because I think I'm going to steal the pattern off you for the Hogwarts scarf. I don't know if it's the Gryffindor one you've done or the Slytherin.
Well, they're all the same pattern. You just use different colors, and it's super easy. I can show you.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
And earlier we were talking about where snood came from, and Katrina said it's hitchhikers, but maybe it's a groovy fruit.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I think the reason I might be wrong, because a snood could be a hood as well. It might be a mixture of 2 words. So a hood would be the ood bit, but I don't know what the SN would be. S would be scarf, I'm presuming, but the N, I've got no idea. So it could be that a snood might actually not be what I've made. It might be a scarf and a hood. That might be more where it is. I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look.
You're right. Where the hell does that N come from? Because we call it a snood over here.
Yeah, we need to find the N.
Okay, well, maybe that's a new adventure for us. Did you see the book that Snook shared the cover of? She says it's really good for learning.
I did. I'm gonna look that up whilst I'm listening to the show. That if she's wearing a scarf, that scarf looks incredible. And you know what though? I feel confident enough now, because of changing the wool, that I can change colours. So at the minute what I've done is, which I'm kind of regretting, because I'm looking now for like reds and oranges and browns to do an autumn patchwork blanket. But I'm using a really thin yarn, not like the chunky stuff what I was doing there. And I'm really regretting using it like for a patch, because it's quite a big patch. And it's taking, I'm almost finished it, but it's taken me like 4 days. And I'm thinking that's not going to be the patch that I'm going to the wool I'm going to be using. I'm probably going to go back to the chunky.
Yeah, for a blanket, chunky's really great because it takes forever to make. Even just with worsted weight, it takes forever to do a blanket with that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks good and everything, but I don't know. There's just the chunky just looks better. It brings out the stitching a lot better than the thinner stuff. Which scarves and jumpers and things like that, and maybe socks even. Yeah, but I really like the chunky. It's just so nice to knit with, and it's got a really nice end result to it as well.
Well, the Hogwarts the scarf that I've been working on called for sport weight, which is really small. And I thought, you know what? It'll take me till next year to make 2 scarves. So I went to Aran weight, which is just below your chunky. So I had to alter the pattern a bit, but it's coming up pretty good.
Yeah, so when you're saying Aran weight, is that like what you make Aran sweaters with?
That's exactly it. It's a little bit thicker than worsted.
Yeah, I went to see a friend today. She's from Russia. She's lovely, God bless her. And she got really excited when she heard I was taking up knitting. And while I was there, I sort of sampled like 50 different items she had done. And one of them she had done was an Aran sweater, and it was fabulous. And she said she had knitted it 20 years ago, and you wouldn't believe it to look at it that it was 20 years old.
It's amazing. And you don't have to go I have friends that are yarn snobs, and I openly call them that because they buy the expensive fibers. And I'll be honest, quite often I grab the acrylics and the synthetic fibers because the way that technology has changed, you sometimes don't know the difference. But the synthetics last a long, long time, just like the good ones, but you can throw them in the washer and dryer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to the next thing I think I would like to do is the blanket, but I think that's going to take me a while to make the patches. But I'm really excited about doing it because, I mean, I might use the thinner. I've got a dark blue and a light blue, and I might make a scarf with that. At the same time, I don't know, I might be alongside that doing the Harry Potter one. I'm not sure. I'd like to do a Gryffindor scarf if I could.
Well, Gryffindor's always good. My son-in-law likes Slytherin, so his is a beautiful dark green and silver, well, gray. And my daughter is not Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, so it's a beautiful blue.
That sounds fabulous. And Gryffindor is like a burgundy and yellow, isn't it?
Yeah, which are two great colors. And you don't have to stick to the yellow that they use in the Gryffindor scarf is a little dull for my taste. I like the nice bright yellow, so you can do it whatever way you want.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds exactly what I'm looking for.
There you go. Katrina says she needs a rainbow. She's a little bit each house. So you could like turn it into a Doctor Who / Harry Potter scarf and use all of them.
Yeah, and then after that I'll do a Dr. Seuss one.
My husband has a Doctor Who scarf that his nanny made for him. Well, we've been together 25 years and he's had it much longer than that. And it's still in perfectly good shape and he uses it religiously every winter and it's got to be washed a lot. He has a mustache.
Oh, that sounds fab.
So Ivan G, sitting there quietly, how's the Olympiad going? He's not telling us.
Yeah, apparently very, very quietly.
Fine, I'll pick on Mandel Sage. How are you doing, Mandel?
I'm doing well, thank you. Like I said, student cancelled, so a bit like, whoa, whole day free now. What am I going to do?
Well, are you enjoying your relaunch, so to speak?
Yes, I am. I'm trying. I'm really organizing everything. right now what I'm really doing is focusing on getting my coloring book finished, because I want to get that published well before Christmas time. And so, yeah, I've got 48 mandalas done, and I think I'm going to go until 60. So 12 more to go.
Wow, that's ambitious. But coloring books with of mandalas are all the rage, aren't they?
Yes, actually, I feel like I'm a bit late to the game. Apparently, Barnes and Noble are not accepting any kind of coloring books anymore. Found out from a friend who in fact did do hand-drawn mandalas and was approached by them a few years ago to publish her book. And so she has contacts there, and yeah, apparently they're not accepting them anymore. Because, I mean, it's true. If you go look on Amazon, for example, you find all sorts of these adult coloring books now. But my hope is that the type of mandalas that I do, I feel they're really unique, quite like unlike anything that I've never seen anything like them before anyway. So I'm hoping that some publishers somewhere will take them. And if they don't, then I'm going to self-publish.
Well, I think it's great. I have friends who love to color mandalas, and one in particular, Kisses for 20, has colored every mandala book that's available on the market so far. So you might find that there's still a demand for them.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm hoping, that these collectors are going to want to have. Oh, another book! Yay! And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it is received. But yeah, so I've been doing that. So I haven't been posting much on Steemit, because like all the things that I've been doing, it's been offline stuff. On Whaleshares, I have been posting just because I found specific Whaleshares things that I could do. So yes, I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about Whaleshares here?
It's coffee hour. You can talk about whatever you like. Well, except for religion and politics.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, that's quite all right. Politics, I don't care much for, and religion is one of my favorite things to talk about. But yeah, I'll refrain. Yeah, well, the Whaleshares. I don't know if anyone here is on Whaleshares, but I've finally dived into it, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Well, good. I'm glad you found another platform that you're enjoying just as well. That's awesome. Thanks, Manda Sage.
Sure.
And I noticed that Edgar's Art came in and Ingenuity. Good to see you guys. So does anyone have a topic that they'd like to talk about, or a post they'd like to share, or shall I just continue picking on people? Okay, picking on people it is.
I'm actually at the
Katrina,
clinic right now with my baby girl. The cold has turned kind of to a cruddy cough, so I'll make sure she ain't got like pneumonia or nothing. So I won't be able to talk much.
Oh, no worries, Engine. Healing thoughts being sent your way. I hope she's okay. So scary when the little ones get sick because they don't really know how to tell you exactly what's going on. So, Katrina, how about I pick on you for a little bit? Are you game? Well, she's not defending herself.
I'm picking up crayons.
What else
Yeah.
would you be doing? I was over on MSP last night and witnessed Katrina Ariel win the open mic over there. That was rather exciting.
It really was. I did not expect that.
I have to admit, Katrina, I haven't heard. There's a little bird that told me that when you sing reggae, You're just absolutely amazing, and the soul in your voice is beyond compare.
Really?
Yeah, but I haven't been able to find any of your work where you're singing a reggae type song. What am I missing?
The Alliance meetup where I sing live.
So that would explain it. Could you be talked into doing a post and posting a song sometime? I'd love to hear it.
I could. I sang a Redemption song by Bob Marley last Friday. It was fun.
Well, from what I heard, it was fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good song. I've been singing so many originals lately that I haven't played a lot of covers, but that's one that I really enjoy, that I should probably release on the blockchain.
Well, last night's song was really good. It was almost like being back in King Arthur's court.
Haha. Yes. Yeah. I miss Ren Fair. Ren Fair was such a fun time in my life when I was doing that, and it was interesting that came up. But that was sort of, I mean, I was singing about Spirit of the Forest, so that kind of musical style makes sense. Or sing here, no pressure. Yeah, if I could get my kids to stop needing me all the time.
Oh, in about 20 years, you'll be saying, I wish my kids needed me more.
Maybe not.
Yeah, in reality, nobody really says that. Just when they're bored and they miss having their kids to talk to.
Right. Right. Well.
So you never know. Maybe in a few years, you'll do a song with the boys accompanying you.
Yeah, and that would be pretty nice, honestly. They do sing quite a bit. In fact, Engine Woody made a reference on Friday. We were out, the kids and I were at the library, and I was listening into the informal witness. And Engine Woody made a reference to Labyrinth, which immediately put the Labyrinth soundtrack in my head. So later that day, I was walking around Costco going, dance, magic, dance, magic, dance. And I've got my kids singing Dance, Magic, Dance in Costco, and it was pretty funny.
Oh, I can just picture them in their little white and red striped onesies dancing around. That'd be hilarious.
They definitely don't wear onesies, but yes, the little baby in the movie did, and yeah, well, that was a quick reference, Whitty. I was surprised I got it, but I watched that movie a lot when I was younger.
My kids loved that movie, but there was one day my daughter came up to me, and I forget what her issue was. And I turned to her and I said, well, honey, life's not fair and the Goblin King has no power. And she just kind of closed her mouth and walked away.
Huh.
That's an awesome movie. Well, thanks for...
It really was the "you have no power over me" thing. That's a big theme, and I think, yeah, it was a great movie. My latest open mic, the one that you heard last night was from last week, but my latest open mic got carried, and that was pretty amazing. And it's one of my favorite songs, so that was neat. It's fabulous, the kind of support I'm getting for music here.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see you on the show again next week for that one.
I wouldn't mind. I sure appreciate it.
Well, thanks for letting me pick on you, Katrina.
Oh, thanks for the spotlight. It's always nice to speak with you.
So now maybe I should pick on Snook and her snap.
What?
I was waiting for the what? No. You had a really cool idea combining the DTube Snap and U-Logs together. That was a really good idea.
Oh, yeah. It just made sense to me because, well, to me it is a U-Log. So the hardest part is making it only a minute long. The
Well,
the DTube Snap.
that was going to be my next question. How did you keep it to a minute? Did you already have an idea what you were saying? Did you write it down?
I didn't write it down, but this one took me like 6 takes because I had a lot I wanted to say, and as we all know, I don't necessarily talk in a straight line. So it took a while to get everything. So then I got it all in there without like stumbling over words and everything. So I was, yeah, pretty happy with how it turned out finally. But normally they're just, well, I don't know how other people do them, but the other ones I've done, I just watch the clock and depending on the light and the glare off of my glasses, if I don't have my glasses on, I'm like squinting at the time on the phone to make sure that I turn it off in time. But I put a story with it, I mean a post with it, not just do the 1 minute. I wouldn't post just a 1 minute video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just 1 minute doesn't seem like much of an effort, does it? But really, when you think about it, keeping
It
it to 1 minute
is.
really is a big effort.
Right, exactly. It just doesn't look like it on a post. So, um, and what I do is I'll write the post up and then put it in Steam It to check it to see how it looks and do all my formatting. And then I copy and paste it to like a notepad so that, um, and then I'll write the one out for DTube because the DTube doesn't take formatting. So it looks really dumb if you leave the formatting in. There's the basic tab is the DTube description, and the advanced is what shows up on Steemit. So I'll have two separate notepad pages, one with the formatting and one I just take all the formatting out. It says the same thing. It just doesn't have the pictures and all that. And then when I go to upload it, and they're a minute, so they upload really fast. And so then I can just copy and paste, the posts in the places. But I do put it in Steam It first, and look at the preview to make sure I have everything in the right place. So then I hopefully don't have to go back and keep editing it. So yeah, but I like getting the word out about U-Logs because to me it is a U-Log, the snap thing.
Have you been over in Steam Gigs lately in surpassing Google's show? How is he doing?
He's not. He's really not doing, and he hasn't been doing a show for now, well, a long time now. So that's another reason why I like. No, he's really not. He's he's really not. Okay. Um, but that's another reason why I'd like to get the word out about the U-Logs and stuff, and because without his shows, he, people are still doing them, but the word isn't getting out there as much, because after a show on Saturday, that's all you'd see for a week was people talking about the show, and which helped advertise the U-Logs and that. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to be going with the snaps, is to try to get the word out about ULOGs more again, so that people start using them, or at least it's out there again. Not that people don't know about it. I know Engine wrote one. Yeah, and he posted it from ulogs.org. So that was really cool. But that's the kind of stuff that makes him, kind of have hope, and makes himself push himself to get what he wants done. So, yeah. So that's kind of where that all came from.
Pandaris, that's a good idea. Ramble U-Log, 10 minutes, dedicated to U-Logs across all our shows. That's not a bad idea.
That is a really good idea. Because it's definitely fallen. Once he stopped his shows, which were, they would go for 12 hours. Um, it really, he got sick, and he's never really gotten better. And now all his energy is focused on, taking care of his dad, and trying to get the ulogs.org site up. So, yeah, that's where all his energy is going. And, so it doesn't, he's doing the best he can, but he doesn't have all the people writing posts, all the, like the advertising kind of thing.
So it kind of sounds like he needs some more support people.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's support that it doesn't cost you anything. It's a post.
Well, I love the U-Logs. And if there's anything that we can do to, I guess, encourage or help surpassing Google, I think we should do it, because it's really been quite an excellent initiative across the platform.
Yeah, it really has. Can I ask, because I've done a few U-Logs in video form, and how important is it to post from the U-Logs website? Because I use DTube to post.
Well, you can't, and that's the right, correct. You can't. Like the one I did yesterday, the DTube Snap, you have to post from the DTube site, which just goes to Steemit. You can't post from ulogs.org.
Right, but if you include the U-Log and surpassing Google tag, does that count for anything, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. 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 It definitely does, because it's all by tags. And if you would go to ulogs.org, you already technically have a account there, because it's
That's right. Oh, right. So if I post through DTube, it shows up anyway on
right.
U-Log.
The really cool thing about that, and I know some other sites do it too, is you can watch a DTube video right on the site. It doesn't take you to DTube to have to watch it. You can watch it right in your feed. It's really nice.
Oh, that is cool, because DLive before, like when I used DLive, it would go to the DLive website.
Right, exactly. Where this one, it actually, like in your feed, you can just click on it and watch it, because it shows up, first. So yeah, and you can you just click on it, and it doesn't take you away from your feed, so you don't lose the thing. Yeah, you'll have to go look at the post engine. Yeah, you do need to try those out. I was thinking of you and the girls with those. And your walks.
Pandaris wants to know embed support for which one? DTube?
Yeah. Yeah. Ulogs.org, if you go there, well, let me here. Hold on.
Oh, and Engine, you do a lot of 30-second to 1-minute videos, so those DTube snaps are perfect for you.
Yeah, just do your snap first. Don't be like me and go, oh, I have nothing.
So when you have an issue with DTube, where do you go? I have to admit, I was kind of wandering through their Discord reading things before I asked any questions, and it didn't seem particularly helpful.
They're not, quite honestly. Their site or whatever, their Discord is not helpful at all. I plain and simple. I got lucky, and so if you open it, it's a ulog link, and then you'll see what I mean about um, it. It plays right in there. If you hit play just for a second, it doesn't take you to the DTube site. Um, no, they're not. And he'll say like, oh, go ask your DTube, blah 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 blah. And again, they are really. I've written stuff in there, and I've gotten no response back whatsoever from them. I just happen to read it. The using the don't. If there was a problem about I couldn't get it to post, and then I was reading other conversations in there, and they said to use don't use Steam Connect, to use your key, because after the hard fork 20, that's what I don't know, screwed something up, and I've just kept to that, and I haven't had any troubles posting to after I changed that. So yeah, but no, their Discord is the most non-helpful place I've ever been to.
Well, I've been able to to upload a video, but I haven't had any luck with streaming. It just will not work.
Oh, they discontinued that.
Okay, that explains a lot right there.
Wait, DTube stopped streaming.
DTube stopped live streaming.
Wait, so how are we supposed to stream on the Steemit blockchain now? Since
Vim.
DLive left.
Vim.
What?
VIMM.
Can you write that down? Well, site maybe.
Yeah.
Wow, DLive, how dare you abandon us?
Oh, there you go. Shadows did it.
Do you think there's people on Steam that are still using DLive?
Probably too salty to use it.
I think they lost a lot of people when they did what they did.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with you. I have found BitTube, which is using the Tube coin or token. I don't really know much about them yet, but I do know it works pretty much the same way as YouTube. And you can connect your YouTube with your BitTube. I haven't tried live streaming with BitTube yet, so I can't say one way or the other whether that works well.
Did you click on the button and connect your YouTube to it?
I did. So the first time takes a little while because you're pulling in whichever videos you decide to put on your BitTube. Brain fart profile. But every time you do a YouTube video after that, you have to decide, do I want to upload this straight to BitTube or do I want to connect it from YouTube? So you have to manually connect each video as you do it to BitTube. It doesn't do it automatically.
Oh, okay. I was going through my bookmarks and I saw that bookmarked and I was like, oh, I haven't been back there.
Hey, someone took my nickname. Brain fart. Those buggers.
Oh, I have to tell you, Artemis, I was searching for the ULOGS logo on Google, and your I think 4 of your cover shots came up with your name, Artemis North.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really great. It was really neat. I was like, well, there's Artemis. Oh, there's Artemis. Oh, there's Artemis.
Wow, I feel Google famous.
You are. You were. You were. Yeah. But I was looking for the new, the fancy U one. But yeah. But yeah, if you go and Google ULOG's logo, I think I did ULOG's and then I did ULOG's logo and then went to pictures. And yeah, your stuff is all over there. It's really great. I was smiling and laughing.
Wow, I wonder how that happened. I don't use SEO or anything.
I have no idea, but you're there under ULOG's. Your Bitmojis, and then one was your green Artemis North, your icon, and yeah, it was neat.
That's really cool. So, Katrina, you said you had something you wanted to share. Are the boys still letting you do that?
Yes. Can you hear me? Am I working?
You sound good.
I sound good. I can't talk, but I sound good. Okay. So I really like this writer, Nicolina. She's super sweet. All my interactions have been fabulous with her. She just makes me feel good. And I found this. I don't go to her blog enough, but that can be said about pretty much everybody because there's just not enough time and so many people. But I've loved this. It's writing. It's not, so much creative art or something, but it's more like creating your life. And it is poetic in one sense. For me, it's an excellent reminder. Her last thought. Let me just read this. Writing is really creative. I think the creatives coffee hour is starting with the fiber artists and all of the creations. But yeah, creativity has no bounds. So her last thought is, this is my reminder that I don't have to chase happiness and abundance my entire life because it's already here in my life and inside of me. The question is, am I going to grab it or ignore it? And that, it comes back to being present and not waiting for something else for your own happiness, choosing to be happy no matter what the situation is. And it's not like, there isn't also the flip side because life is yin yang, but happiness is a choice much of the time.
I think she really nailed it here, saying getting rid of attachments to the material things, getting rid of limiting beliefs, pressure, and expectations, our own and everyone else's, getting rid of
Yeah.
rules dictated by society. How true is that? I mean,
So true.
I think expectations are our worst enemy.
Well, I don't know if expectations are worse than limiting beliefs and the rules dictated by society. Expectations are really tough because where do you draw the line between having your own standards of what you want in your life and what you're willing to accept versus expecting other people to be a certain way? Because when you expect other people to be a certain way and they aren't, you're going to be disappointed, and that's your own fault. And I'll take ownership of that because I do it all the time. Um, but at the same time, if you have no expectations, do you have standards? And is that important? I guess it depends on each person.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I remember my intro to social work course, the first thing that they taught us, the very first words that my prof said was, know thyself. And that, I think, transcends every walk of life and every culture, because if you don't know yourself, your expectations can do you in. Your perceptions are based on your expectations at times.
Yeah, and the know thyself, when we are, it, I think for all of us, we're very fixed beings in some ways, like we are how we are, and at the same time, I think we're all changing constantly as well. For me, I know that my stubbornness and my changeability aren't usually playing well together.
Well,
I gotta say, sorry, Artemis.
no, you go right ahead, Mandel.
I was just gonna say, I turned 34 the other day, and I really do feel in my brain how I'm starting to become more like, you know how you always say, oh, I'm not going to become fixed in my ways like my grandparents were, or something. And I don't believe that I will ever be quite as dogmatically fixed in my ideas as some of the people I know. But I do feel in my brain that I'm becoming less fluid as than I used to be as I'm getting older. And just like is that anything that anybody else can relate to? Because I'm
Yes.
ready. I want to just be open to everything, but I feel like as you just gain experience and things and see, and develop certain paradigms into their sort of, they become comfortable in your worldview. They do kind of get entrenched, and I don't know. I think being aware of that maybe is probably the key, and not to not let them get too entrenched, or try and see yourself when you're having an argument or whatever in life, when you're disagreeing with something or someone, to try and ask yourself, hey, well, maybe, be the devil's advocate, and try and see if maybe you are being stubborn.
It's true, though. We do get set in our ways, and we tend to think our ways are right. And it's hard to remember to keep that open mind and look at the other person and say, remember that old poem by Emily Dickinson, think as I think, or you are abominably wicked? I think that kind of has a lot, that can transcends across every culture as well, because we think we're right. And it's only a person who is, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Sorry, guys, I just brain farted. Welcome to the Brain Fart Show. But did you see where I was going with that? If you can stop and look at the person that you're disagreeing with and say, okay, well, explain it your way, and don't sit there actively listening, meaning thinking of what you're going to say to respond. Sit there and just clear your mind and listen to what they're saying. It's amazing how sometimes we're saying the same thing, but only differently.
Yep,
That's so true.
It's really an important thing. The first thing you learn when you if you go on a course with communication skills, is exactly that. Everybody tends to wait until it's their turn to talk, and it's kind of natural, because you've got this, maybe you thought of an idea, and now you're holding on to it because you don't want to forget what you wanted to say, and so you kind of hold on to that, and then a lot of stuff that whoever else is talking, is missed by you, because you're so focused on wanting to say your bit.
Totally guilty of that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Just
I
get so
am.
excited. I'm like, oh, I have this to say, and oh, I have this to say. But yeah, stepping back and really truly listening. I mean, is there a better feeling than having somebody's full attention on what you think is important enough to share?
Yep, it's pretty crazy. pretty crazy. It reminds me, I watch people like Sam Harris, somebody I admire a lot, doing debates, and then each debater has maybe 10 minutes to do their point, and then like that's a lot of time to say a lot of different things, and then they'll get up and have their turn and reply to all the points that were raised by the previous person, and still get across what they wanted to say, what they already had planned to say for their turn. So it's pretty incredible. I think it takes practice to do that. Sort of organize ideas and thoughts in your mind and have them all ready and remember everything.
I agree.
My husband's really good at doing that. He means to listen, but then his brain wanders. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of what you're talking about, he'll say, well, did you see that? And you're like, what?
Oh, no.
Not very good for communication. But that's another part of human relationships. Accept him for who he is. And I know he's like that. So I just laugh and go back to the topic. Well, I don't always laugh. And her mind just wanders away.
Your
So,
mind
Katrina,
or your hubby?
No, my hubby, he'll ask a question, he'll be talking, he just wanders away. And I'm oh,
Oh, God.
I'm
oh my gosh,
glad you're listening. Bye.
do you ever follow him?
No, but I should one of these days. He would be like, what are you doing?
Mine, oh geez, put a leash on it. Mine will ask. Well, he's trying to get better, but mine is famous for asking a question and then not giving me a chance to actually answer it. He'll just keep talking, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, you didn't actually want to hear what I had to say." Anyway,
That
yes,
just irritates me so much.
yeah. I'll stop talking about that now. Did you? I have this other post. If nobody else has one.
Sure, go ahead, Katrina.
So last week's Freedom Friday subject was awesome, freedom of sexuality. And this one is so well written. It got a Curie. It totally deserved the Curie. But it was to me, it is encouraging sexual creativity in such a beautiful way, and talking about breaking down limiting ideas and dogma and that kind of thing. This post does a fabulous job of doing that. And there's quite a bit of spiritual context, as well as just honoring the nature of our sexuality as human beings.
I always wondered, and I guess I'm breaking the rules a little bit here, but I always wondered about the different religions that taboo sex, yet they want you to go for it and have children. So I wondered, you know how the Jewish people, they'll say, well, you do this with a knife and you don't eat pork, and all of their rules have a reason. If you look into the old ways that they lived, pork turned bad very easily and had a lot of bacteria. So that was a good reason for them not to. So then I think about, sexual taboos, and does it relate to sexually transmitted diseases? Or what is it about sex that is such a taboo?
Yeah, I do believe it was exactly that. I mean, if you go back only, before 200 years ago, people didn't understand where disease came from, germ theory. So the sorry, I was just distracted here. So exactly, it's pork, like, they didn't get that it was germs. It was just that the meat went bad, and by eating that, you would become ill, and any illness was related to, they thought, was caused by supernatural forces. So it became a thing to not eat pork, and yeah, the same thing with sex. It's but I'm going through this post, and yeah, it's really very nice, very well written, and I'm especially for this type of thing. I know lots of people in my life who have been victims of sexual abuse, and just, so through the years I've looked into the cause of this, and the main thing is sexual is taboo, sexual taboo. Like that is the main cause of sexual abuse in society. So I think the more people talk about it, and the earlier we just educate children about sexuality, in an open and responsible way, the better for society in general.
The strangest thing about sexual assault is that it doesn't really have anything to do with sex. It has to do with power and dysfunction. When I heard a news brief about Trump wanting to go back to chemical castration, my first words were they did it in the 60s and it didn't work because it doesn't really have anything to do with sex.
I'll just hop in since I was typing, but power. If sexuality is one of our animal instincts, and we have organs that are made for pleasure, and they're not just made for procreation, they're made for pleasure. That might come off as opinion, but at the same time, I don't believe that it's just for that. And the power and control, well, if you tell people that something that is inherent about them is wrong, you can shift that power and say, well, that's not okay to feel pleasure. That's not okay to express yourself freely. And then people hide and they are oppressed. Like, that is power.
It really is power. I agree with you. I don't know if everyone else does. I'm sure they probably do. Our body was built first for that particular act should be enjoyable. So yeah, I think to say that it's wrong is cultural conditioning. But I do have to say you made the perfect point. STDs would be a lot less rampant if we talked with sex about younger people rather than making it taboo. These kids are curious and they're going to go find ways, whether we teach them or not. We might as well teach them what's right.
There are countries where sexual education is normal and it happens earlier on in life, and those countries have a lot less issues with STDs and unplanned pregnancies and all of that. Yeah, I don't get it. But there's also cultures. If you look back in history, and probably if you look around the world, and I don't know that much to like reference things, but in matriarchal societies, in traditions that are more nature based, in tantra, for example, in paganism, where sexuality is honored and is respected. The article that I dropped, that post, he talks about tantra, and I studied tantric yoga, and we didn't like go into the sexual aspect of tantra at all, but it's included because it is part of being embodied. And tantra says that this whole experience is divine, and so you can't take part of the experience and say, well, this is bad, this part of you is bad, because that just creates guilt and shame and incongruent. It's incongruous and not congruent. Whatever word I'm looking for there.
You had it right.
I think what you're saying is we live like we're designed by the society we live in.
Very much so. I mean, just in North America alone, we're not the type of country that you have to wear a chandor and you have to cover your face or whatever they call them. And we're supposed to be a progressive country, but we still have issues. I don't want to say the word I'm a feminist because I'm not. I'm a humanist. But we're still having issues where women are being put under the thumb. And, it's the old taboo. It's from the days when women were property. And today, in this day and age, we're still fighting it. So cultural conditioning runs deep.
Yes, it does.
Actually, the hijab thing, I think that's Muhammad. It's Islam or Muslim, I'm not sure. But anyway, that was brought in because when women went out at night to pee, that they would get raped if they were a slave. If they had the garments of a well-to-do person, they would be left alone because there would be repercussions. So Muhammad came to the thing of that where they should all wear certain garments, and eventually that just got established that they should cover their face and cover their whole body and all stuff like that. So it just got exaggerated on after that.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
I hadn't actually even thought of that. I've never heard of that. That is interesting.
But sorry to jump from one culture to another, on a universal scale, how often do women hide themselves and their expression, and in order to avoid
That's
but I guess we all do that.
unfortunately universal.
Well, we all do that. And I think men do it too. They, not necessarily in the same way, but, it's a form of protection.
It is, and it's sad that we feel that we need that.
And there we have the progress in humankind. As we become a more global community, I personally believe that our taboos and magazines that shame, they fat shame, they sex shame, they just shame each other. We're supposed to be this idealistic, perfect type of human being, and nobody can be that.
Well, part of it comes down to us as individuals. Like if we seen the human body more often, it wouldn't be so yay when we do see it. The human body is hidden a lot of the time, and people are not used to seeing the human body. There is a group now in New York that for women, and they go out topless reading. So they go out into the park and just sit there and read the book naturally topless, just to bring awareness about the body.
You could say that, but then you have to look at human nature and say, well, men are still men, and men are designed to procreate, and they do it well into their 70s, so I hear. So, but don't you think it would be hard, though, for men not to have a reaction, no matter how conditioned they were to it?
I just, man, like have a reaction. Like I hear this from these, like, what do they call them? Men's rights groups. Like, oh, men, they can't help themselves. I think it's total bullshit. I'm a man, and like I really do wish that, or hope we get to a thing in society where women can walk topless without any repercussions, any problems. Because really, I mean, it really just should be like I don't see why. I mean, women have reactions too, but you don't have women doing that. I mean, I get it that men, so there's the sort of, they are more aggressive, but come on, we've evolved in society to a point, and I guess it's a question of education as well, where men, they haven't got an excuse if if men are aggressive sexually speaking, they are making a choice, and it's I just really can't stand this thing. Like, oh, men have reactions and they can't help themselves, because it's really just, it's not true at all.
Actually, you're totally right. And Katrina pointed out, she said, I don't think we need to be conditioned to not to get excited, but how about respecting people's bodies as their own? And I guess that's when you get right down to the bottom line.
Yes, exactly. Respecting people's bodies and just respecting another person as another person, and not doing it's it's crazy. It's like not going and not being a dick about just watching your own behavior in any aspect, not just sexually. It boggles my mind.
It's kind of like if I seen Sandra Bullock topless, I'd have a reaction, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go over there and take action.
Which is where you're totally different from the power seekers. And on that note, how about we close up unless someone had something that they wanted to share that they didn't get a chance to? And yes, engineering is hard. Okay, guys, thanks so much for coming to the Creatives Coffee Hour. You never know what we're going to talk about here, and this was a great discussion. I thank you for that. So from Artemis North in Shadow's Pub, this has been the Creatives Coffee Hour. Go out and do something for yourself today, and have out something for someone else too. Go forth and steamy, people.
Thank you, Artemis. It was rather entertaining.
I didn't really think I'd be coming here to talk about sex today. But there's nothing wrong with that.
From scars to sex.
Oh, there's a U-log in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's true, Ivan. There's always time to talk about